Hello, welcome to my channel. This is my intro. This is the beginning of the video. The video starts now. With the dry method, I feel like you have more control when you know where you're plucking. But with the wet method, it's like, it's a little bit misjudging. So I'm gonna wait till the hair dries. Hello, welcome to my channel. So today is a tutorial of how to pluck your frontal. So basically, when looking at Felicia now, you can see that her frontal isn't plucked, making her look more wiggy, and we don't want that wiggy look. We want to eliminate that wiggy look. So today I'm going to show you how to do that. I want to actually show you how to do that in two methods: the dry method, which is going to be completed on this half, and the wet method, which is going to be completed on the other half. So basically this is a two method tutorial of how to pluck your frontal. So what you'll need to eliminate this wiggy like hairstyle, you'll need obviously a frontal, you'll need a tweezer, which is important. You also need some sort of pins. So yeah, no, you don't want to focus now. Okay, I'll pretend it's focusing. You'll need some sort of pins that will allow you to pin down your frontal. And then you'll need a hairbrush to section the hair. So that's the most important thing you need. And obviously if you have a wig plug, that will be beneficial because you need to be able to pluck the hair. So I'm just going to get right into it, starting off with the dry section. Okay, so I have basically already gone ahead and sectioned the hair. Basically you want to go, I'm going to do this in a few sections. So basically I'm going to show you here how to complete this section, and then I'll go ahead and complete the rest and then show you what happens after. I'll show you before and after I've completed the rest, or this video will be too long. So I'll show you the demonstration part on this little section here. So basically when you go ahead to pluck your frontal, you want to go, this is a ruler, you want to go about an inch in. So basically I've gone a bit too far here because I guessed, wait a minute, not that far off, but I guessed it. So you want to go about an inch in. So I'm going to then section the hair off like so, and then keep plucking. And then even when I'm plucking, you want to go about a centimetre apart. So you got your ruler here, you want to go about a centimetre apart when you're doing each pluck. So now I'm just going to go ahead and show you. At the front I'm just going to part a little bit. I'm just doing it thin now because it's the front. So I'm just going to little part in, going all the way down. As you can see, I'm going to start at the top and then pluck a few hairs and then go a centimetre down and then pluck there and then go a centimetre down. So I'm going to pluck a few hairs but not too many, about 3. There we go. So basically just pluck not too much hairs, and at the front, because it's already, you don't need to just pluck that much because you're going to be plucking different sections here to make it look more natural and flowy. Okay, so I'm just going to pluck a little bit more. Okay, that was a nice chunk, and now I'm going to move on to the next section, a centimetre down. I just want to make sure that I've got it out of the root, and not just plucking any hairs. And where I see some black knots still, I'm going to just take those out. Okay. You can guesstimate it. If you know a centimetre, you don't have to use a ruler. That's a bit extra, but if you know, you can just do you boo, do your little measurements. Then I'm going to take it. Obviously when doing your sections you don't have to make it that thin, because if you make it that thin and keep plucking you could probably get bald spots. So I'm just doing this because it's the front of the hair, and then later on I'll do a thicker section. The hair off, and this side I'm going to make it a little bit thicker. I'm just going to brush that out, just a little bit of brush. So now I'm just going to go and pluck a thicker section. And because I started a little bit higher up here, I'm going to start plucking a bit lower. Sorry, I'm going to start plucking a bit lower. So say if I start up top, I'm going to start a centimetre down. So 2 centimetres, and go ahead and pluck a centimetre apart from the 2 centimetres. Remember, you can always go back and pluck more. It's better to pluck less when you first start than pluck too much. because you can't put hair back in.
But be gentle with the hair as well, because you don't want a holy lace, unless you're into that. If not, be gentle, as that one's going to be out. And pluck.
I feel like the dry method you can see a bit more. Like when the hair's wet, it's a bit confusing and you don't know like how the hair's looking because it's wet. But we'll see. You'll see the difference when I go ahead and do the other side. Nearly lost my plucker then. Okay, so now I'm going to, because I started low hair, I'm going to go higher up hair. It does take a while. But you got to do what you got to do. This is like about 1 inch, and then I'm going to stop there and then go and look at it and see what it looks like, and then go ahead some more. Like random scatters to make sure it looks not so like uniform, like an actual hairline. Oh my god. Because it's quite holy with my hair, I'm not going to be so heavy-handed on the plucking because I don't want my bald patches anyway. Okay, so it's still looking thick. But now we can go in and start to randomly pluck. Let me check the other side as well. See if it's looking different. Okay, so there is a difference. It's laying more flat as well because it's thinner. But we're gonna go ahead and pluck some more. So now I'm just gonna do like a random pluck. I'm doing it in like random sections because you want it to be natural. Your hairline isn't uniform, so I'm making it ununiform. If that makes sense. Remember, if you don't like it, you can always go back and pluck some more. It's better to go back and pluck some more rather than to pluck too much. See, but now it's looking a little lighter and it's looking more hair-like, especially at the front here. So I'm going to go easy with the plucking now. Okay, so I'm going to leave it for now. So basically at the beginning I like to do the sections just to have like a little bit of a guide, and then when you look at it you can do random places, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of the section and then of the rest of the half of the head, and then come back and show you the aftermath. and then we're going to go ahead and do the wet version, the wet method, and see which way you like the best. Okay, so I've actually finished the dry side now. At the moment I like it so far, but it's not obviously not on my head yet, so maybe I'll go back and pluck more, we'll see. So this is the difference. I haven't done the wet side yet, obviously. So this is so now you can basically see a comparison of what it looks like plucked and when it's not plucked. At the moment I'm liking it. I like the division. As you can see, I did actually go and pluck more down here because I felt like I just needed to plug a little bit more because it was still looking kind of thick. So basically I've now finished plucking this side. I'm going to go ahead and just moisturise the hair, just this side, with argan oil. You don't need to do that. It's because the hair's looking kind of like dry at the moment because I haven't watched it in ages and it's just been sitting a while on my makeup table. So I'm just going to go with the argan oil now. Just apply a little bit. Oh yeah, wait a minute. Let me show you the difference first. This is it before it was plucked. So you can see it's very heavy, very thick, very uniform. So this is before and this is after. So it's looking more natural now, it flows, looking like an actual hair. So that's the dry method. Again, I'm going to go and show you the other way of doing it, the wet method. So I'm just going to go ahead and moisturise the hair, then braid it up so I can separate the two hairs. So yeah, that's the difference. I'm going to go ahead and pluck the other side now. Okay, so back, I'm going to go straight into it and go in with the wet method. So basically, this is my spray bottle. This is Encanted. It's actually water, conditioner and oil. But you don't have to use water, conditioner and oil. It's just because I use this on my natural hair and I don't want to throw it away. I don't want to like waste it. So I'm just going to use this. Anywho, I'm going to wash the hair anyway, so it doesn't matter if it gets all greasy and that. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and spray it. I already sectioned the hair and all that stuff. I realised in the other half that I was filming too far away, so the camera didn't want to like, what's it called? It didn't want to like focus on the hair. It was focusing on my back of my head and my hands and all that good stuff instead of what I actually wanted it to focus on. So this is saturated enough. It's nice and wet. You can see the measurement of the conditioner and oil, but it doesn't matter. So I'm going to do the same process on this side. So what I'm going to go ahead is just at the beginning, at the front of the hair, I like to just section a small bit, as you can see, and then just separate it with a hair clip. It's easier to separate. I realise that it's easier to actually separate the hair when it is wet, but then the hair clumps together, so then it's like you might end up plucking too much. But I'll go ahead and then we'll see the difference when we're done. So I'm just going to go ahead and pluck it. As I said before, you want to go about 1 centimetre, like every 1 centimetre you want to pluck. And then I'm going to go ahead and do another section, but this time it's going to be bigger. And I'll say about 3 times, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of the other section, and when I'm done, then I'll show you. But for now on, I'm just going to get into it so you can see what I'm actually doing. So I'm actually starting 1 centimetre in. So that's gone. I could probably pluck a little bit more. Remember, it's always better to pluck less when you first start, and then pluck more later if you need to, because you can't unpluck your hair. I mean, like, you can't like bring the hair back once it is gone.
I feel like when the hair's wet, it's easier to take out, if that makes sense. I was a little bit scared because I had conditioner and the oil in it. That'll be a bit hard to actually remove the hair, but it's fine. At least the hair's getting moisturised. Okay.
Now I'm finished with that section. I'm gonna like make a bigger section. A bigger section, yeah, that makes sense. Part of a bigger section, yeah, that wasn't good English. But here we go. That's the bigger section here. I'm just gonna wet this hair so it doesn't like join in with the hair that I'm plucking, so I don't over pluck it. I feel like that's what makes it easier when it's wet, that you can separate the hair compared to when it's dry, because the hair's so silky, it likes to like move along with it. move along with the hair that you already like plucked. So that's the disadvantage of doing it the dry way. But they both had advantages and disadvantages. So hair started 1 centimetre in. So hair started 1 centimetre down. So I'm going to start 1 centimetre up. So from the top. Yeah, so when you do it the dry way, I just feel like you can see the section better, because now the hairs are all clumped together, it looks thicker, so it's a bit harder to manipulate. Now I'm going to go ahead and section the next section, part the next section. What is up with my English today? Okay, I'm going to start a bit lower down now. Yeah, I feel like when it's wet, it's like harder. It's like you can misjudge what you're doing because the hair's all clumped together. So you really want to find the root. So I always like to start off with doing these sections, and then after I brush it out, I would go back and then pluck in random like places to make it less uniform. Now I'm gonna part the next part. I think this is the last section because we're about 1 inch in now. Yeah, we're about 1 inch in. Okay. We'll start from the top here. It's about 1 centimetre. But I must say it's easier to actually take the hairs out when the hair's wet compared to when the hairs are dry, because I felt like I was tugging a bit more then. I don't really know why, but it's just the way it is. Probably some sort of science behind it. Okay, now I've done with the like uniforming of the sectioning of it. I'm gonna go ahead and try it. I'm gonna look at it now. See, it's gone a little bit thinner. But I'm gonna look at it, and basically you need a comb to brush the hair out as well, because all the little hairs that are stuck are gonna, like, you need a brush to comb out the hairs so it doesn't go all over you, and you can actually see where the hair closures the frontal has been plucked. So it's got a little bit more thinner. Now I'm gonna do just normal sections, like going across, and then pluck it from there and see how I like it. Just like this, and then pluck. Remember, don't pluck too much because you can always go back and pluck more. Yeah, so at the moment I was doing this, I feel the benefits of doing it wet is that it's easier to part the hair, but it's a little bit of a misjudgment because the hair's so wet and clumped together. It's a bit like you can misjudge it of how much you're actually plucking. Oops. The sections you do this and you can choose. I like to just go a little bit like a medium section, but you can do big sections if you want, but you end up just plucking more later if you do bigger sections. But whatever suits you, whatever you feel more comfortable with. Okay, so here I'm just plucking the hair in random places. I do section it here, but it's just like a random section. Like you'll see it go from 1 centimetre to 2 centimetres. It's just random plucking. You don't want to pluck in one area too much because you end up getting bald patches. So yeah, just do your scattering, random plucking, and then the job should be good. What I'm doing here, just looking back at the job, seeing if I like it. I then go ahead and do some random plucking again in different like sections, just random plucking to make it look less uniform and get rid of some of the unwanted hairs. I know it's easier to navigate when the hair's dry, like, and when you're doing the random scatters, because this hair likes to stick together because it's wet, so it's a little bit harder. But then it's easier to pull the hair out because it's not so like, I don't know, it's less like very silky because the hair is quite silky. So it was harder to pull it out when it was dry. Okay, so this is all I'm going to do now. And then I'm going to pluck the rest and then come back to it and see if I want to pluck more. Let me look at the other side. Okay. Because I don't want to misjudge it. This is what the other side's looking like at the moment. I've just sprayed that up to separate the hairs. This is what this side looks like at the moment. But remember, it's wet, so it's showing you a different story. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other sections and then come back and see if I want to pluck more. So in a bit. Okay, so now we are done with doing the wet method. So the hair's all plucked. I feel like you need to get a little bit closer. Yeah, so the hair's now all plucked. I must say, between the dry method and the wet method, with the dry method I feel like you have more control when you know where you're plucking, but with the wet method it's like, it's a little bit misjudging. So I'm going to wait till the hair dries and then I'll see if I need to pluck more or not, because at the moment, because the hair's flat and wet, it looks like this section is like thicker than the other section, but I don't think it is. I think it's just because the hair's wet, but I'm going to let it dry, because remember, you can always go and pluck more rather than plucking out too much. So yeah, at the moment I think it's alright. When looking down here, yep, I think it looks more natural because it was very thick, very heavy. So that's basically done. The tutorial's done. I would say for a beginner, I'd probably go with the dry method because you have more control and you have a visual of what you're actually doing. Whilst doing the wet method, it's very, like, the hair clumps all together, so it's kind of hard compared to the dry method. But the wet method is easier for taking out the hair, but the dry method is a little bit less easier compared to taking out the hair than the wet method, because the hair's all silky and you have to like keep going in and trying to pluck it out. But for a beginner, I'd say go with the dry method, and if you're a pro, then you can go ahead with the whatever you choose. I'd stick with the dry if you're new. So that's it. Thank you for watching. And bye-bye. So this is the next day. You can see Felicia's all done and plucked. Looking like a natural hairline now. But I would say I still do prefer doing the dry method compared to the wet method. So this was the dry method, which is easier to see. And this was the wet method. Okay, so thank you for watching. And that is Felicia.